So it seems like Ubisoft ultimately can't get a break, and I honestly am not surprised by this announcement. This is something that when I first heard about it, I didn't think it was actually going to be released. Kind of similar to the Blade movie after all the backlash that movie got and the constant reworks and script rewrites and everything under the sun. You kind of see the writing on the wall, and you'll notice that things aren't exactly working out the way that they were hoping. Well, we have the same exact scenario playing out here, where we have an article from IGN, and it says Ubisoft's Tom Hardy-led Splinter Cell movie is dead, surprising absolutely nobody.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out, 'cause I don't want ass prints on my new door.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure where IGN is coming from in terms of their reason for why they saw this cancellation, but I know where I'm coming from, and that's ultimately that video game movies just don't do well on average, and that's because the people who are in charge of the movie tend to not either respect the source material, care about the source material, know about the source material, and choose to completely ignore everything that made people fall in love with the source material in the first place. They're not exactly having gamers in mind when it comes to making this movie, and when they're designing the movie and making the story and trying to get everything together, yeah, you're not exactly on the forefront of their minds. The forefront of their minds is how can they take this particular story that is extremely popular without understanding why it's popular and then co-opt it into something that they want and use it to push a message. So let's get into this article from IGN, but of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says, surprising absolutely no one, Ubisoft's Tom Hardy-led Splinter Cell movie isn't happening. And to be honest with you, I think that's probably for the best, and I think a lot of you guys will probably agree with that, right? I think it's for the best. I liked Splinter Cell a lot in the first iterations of it. As time went on and it started getting a whole bunch of sequels and whatnot, it kind of fell off for me a little bit. But I love the original Splinter Cell games. They're so freaking good. They are like the top of the top when it comes to stealth gameplay. They really are just that damn good. And Sam Fisher is a character that a lot of people love, right? I feel like you cannot watch or play something like Splinter Cell and not fall in love with Sam Fisher's character, especially when you start getting into him being betrayed by his own team, government, etc. It gets really good, right? It's just such a standard story, but at the end of the day, it's really good. I don't think that this was going to translate well into a movie, not because the IP can't translate well. We've obviously seen stealth-oriented movies like this and government ops and everything. Like, we've seen movies like this. But the problem is that it's the people now who are making movies that I just don't believe can actually pull this off in any good way. And most likely, to be honest with you, even though this is going to be Tom Hardy-led, or it was going to be anyway, I really feel like they were going to try to subvert expectations. They were going to try to take this movie and turn it into a Melissa Fisher or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, they were going to try to make it about a female at some point in time, or they were going to try to push some sort of agenda with this film, and it would have tanked anyway. The Splinter Cell movie was announced in November 2012, with Hardy at the time fresh from starring as Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, set to play Spec Ops agent Sam Fisher. 2 years later, Edge of Tomorrow director Doug Liman, who was brought in to helm the movie, but since then, apart from vague quotes about how things were going for people involved, nothing concrete emerged. Now, producer Basil, I can't say that last name, has confirmed that the Splinter Cell movie is in fact dead. In an interview with The Direct, he says that he called the film one of the ones that got away. And again, to be honest with you, I'm okay with this. I just genuinely believe that if you're going to make a Splinter Cell movie, you have to make sure that you see who's going to make it and make sure they're going to respect the source material. It's the most important thing. If you're not going to respect the source material in a Splinter Cell game, just don't even fucking bother doing it. And that goes for any video game IP. Just don't bother doing it if you're not going to respect the source material. He says that movie would have been awesome. Again, I don't know how you know it would have been awesome since you didn't even make it, but that's besides the point. Just couldn't get it right script-wise and budget-wise. I think it's more so script-wise than budget, because again, when he says just couldn't get it right script-wise, what is difficult about co-opting a Splinter Cell game? I don't understand. The in-game story is already good enough to be a movie on its own. You really don't gotta do much. If you were having a problem script-wise, then that tells me that you were really trying to change shit up. You were trying to change it up to the point where you might not even recognize Splinter Cell at that point. So, because it's not hard. It's not hard to just take the story that's already in the game and co-opt it on screen and tell a movie. Like, I don't know. Budget-wise, I really don't see how you would struggle to get a budget, but, that's not here nor there. But it was going to be great. We had a million different versions of it. That doesn't sound great at all. That doesn't sound great at all. If you have a million versions of Splinter Cell, then you're clearly not making Splinter Cell. You know what I'm saying? Like Splinter Cell, you can have a couple of versions depending on which part of the story you want to tell or where you want to start from. But ultimately, if you have a million different versions of it, yeah, like that's not, you're not making Splinter Cell. You were trying to co-opt the story. But it was going to be a hardcore and awesome. That's one of the ones that got away, which is really sad. IGN has asked Ubisoft for a comment. Now, this was the original, I guess, trailer for Netflix saying, here's your first look at Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Death Watch, a new animated... Oh, so this is the animated series. So this is the other one that's coming out. Now, this is officially coming out. This has not been canceled yet as of right now filming this video, but the movie itself has been canceled. Now, in terms of an animated series, hopefully they could do this one better than the movie. And I got to imagine they're going to have a little more creative liberty since it is animated instead of live action. But, ultimately time will tell. The unfortunate fate of the Splinter Cell movie is in keeping with the status of the franchise as a whole. In September, Netflix revealed the first trailer for its long-in-development animated Splinter Cell show, Splinter Cell Death Watch, which stars Liev Schreiber as Sam Fisher. So who knows that? So we know that's definitely happening. But what else? The gaming series hasn't seen a brand new mainline entry for more than a decade. However, Ubisoft has revealed that a remake of the original Splinter Cell is in the works, although it's without a release date. And again, I'm not trusting Ubisoft to remake Splinter Cell. Can you imagine modern day trans Ubisoft remaking Splinter Cell? Yeah, you got to imagine they're going to absolutely ruin Sam Fisher. I really wish they would just leave these games alone and stop remaking them if they're not going to respect why people fell in love with them in the first place, why people actually enjoyed them in the first place. It's almost as if they don't even understand their own customer, which again, I've said this so many times, and it's because it's true. They don't understand because the people that are there now are not the people who made the game 10, 15, 20 years ago. That's not who's there anymore. You have a brand new team of absolute losers who don't understand what came before them, but they swear they know everything. So when they start remaking these games, it absolutely flops because they don't understand what made them popular in the first place or why they were so much fun. So ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to see a new Splinter Cell game. I'm sure a lot of you guys will love to see a new Splinter Cell game, but just like the remake of Splinter Cell, I have no faith in Ubisoft making a brand new Splinter Cell game and doing it justice. I just don't. Unfortunately, we live in a world where Ubisoft has told us everything about their ideology, what they like to do, how they like to control people, how they want to use video games for social change, how they want to change the world by doing that. They told us everything. This is not a video game company. At this point, it is pretty much a propaganda machine. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. If you get to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.